Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to AIS St Helens. My name is Richard Smith. I'm the Academic Registrar, and I'm here to cover some housekeeping or some important information from the Student Handbook. This Student Handbook is a guide which we've built up over many years of experience at AIS St Helens, and every semester we publish an updated version. So this Student Handbook contains all the information you need to know to help you settle into AIS St Helens and to study successfully. So all of the information about our services and facilities, and lots of information about rules and regulations, and lots of important advice. So I really encourage you to read the Student Handbook. And this morning I'd just like to cover a few of the more important items just very briefly with you. You'll see at the front a long index. There's about 4 pages of different items, and that's the best way to find what you are looking for. And on the cover page, it's important to note our slogan. Our slogan at AIS St Helens, right at the front: individual focus, international vision. And that's been spoken about already a lot by the President and our Kaumātua this morning. Individual focus and international vision, that really represents the focus of AIS St Helens. And there's lots of key information even on the back of the Student Handbook. That's all the main contact details. And the most important information on the back is the 24-hour emergency contact number. That emergency contact number is also printed on your student ID cards. So you will always have this 24-hour emergency contact number to call if at any time, anywhere, you need any assistance during your time here. This gets you straight to our 24/7 security service at AIS St Helens. There's an introduction on page 6 in writing from the President. Paragraph from the middle I'd just like to read. AIS St Helens is a progressive organisation. Established in 1990, the Institute has developed to become New Zealand's largest and most international private tertiary institute, with around 800 students from over 30 different countries. Over 16,000 students have passed through our doors in this period, and over 3,200 degrees and higher diplomas awarded. And we very much welcome you to join the family of AIS St Helens. Over the page on page 7, there's a case of the sort of information that is covered. The facilities, you'll see items there telling you about the cafeteria, the computer laboratories. Further down on page 7, the devotional room or the prayer room. Over on page 8, the library. Important information like the opening and closing times, how you can access those facilities, and some guidelines about how to use them effectively. Please turn over to page 11. Let's jump straight on to item 2.7, page 11. That's the fire and evacuation procedures. So all classrooms and areas of the campus have instructions for evacuation. And from this campus, straight down the stairs and up into the car parking area outside. And the instructions for the main campus and the library relocatables area are also given here. Item 2.8 on harassment. Important point to cover. We're very conscious about harassment, and there's a team of people who are listed here, the contact persons who can help you on a confidential basis, one-on-one, if you feel uncomfortable or threatened by any harassment of a sexual, a racial, or a physical nature. Over on page 12 at the top, item 2.9, health and safety. There's an important list of points there to run through. And these are our strategies to ensure that students and staff study and work in a safe and healthy environment. If you find anything that can help with our safety and health, then please let your teachers or our student services officers or reception know your suggestions and ideas. Further down on page 12, item 2.11, IRD. Inland Revenue Department is here today as part of your orientation, and you'll need to apply for an IRD number if you're new in New Zealand. If you're going to open a bank account, if you're going to work during your studies, and if you're going to apply for student loans or allowances, you'll need an IRD number. And the website reference is also given here for applying for that. At the bottom of page 12, and for the next couple of pages, we cover our IT services. That tells you all about how to access the internet here at AIS St Helens, how to use the student email, the e-learning system, and the course electronic enrollment system. And access to this is all subject to compliance with the AIS St Helens Student Code of Use for Information Technology Systems. And that's covered in more detail on page 14. And we'll be asking you to sign the Code of Use for using IT systems as part of your orientation today and as part of your enrollment process. At the top of page 13, there's an item how to set up your ESS account. We're going through that with you today as well. At the bottom of page 13, there's some important information about using the internet at AIS St Helens. We do provide free internet access between the hours of 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Daily. And some access to some websites is restricted. Now for students who are wanting faster access, faster wireless access available 24 hours a day, a Wi-Fi speed line account can be opened at the cashier's office at a cost of $5 per 1 gigabyte data block. At the top of page 14, there's an item about student email. We advise you strongly to check your AIS St Helens email account regularly, because we will be using your AIS email address to send you correspondence or communication and important information, including your results. Further down on page 14, the Student Code of Use for using IT systems covers things like the size of your files. We ask that you keep your files to less than 10 megabytes on the system. Breaches of the Code of Use, so you may not download from the internet any material which is offensive or obscene. And the responsibilities of AIS St Helens. At the top of page 15, we mention that your IT usage will be monitored by IT department, and we reserve the right to terminate any access to IT services for any breaches. Let's move on to page 16, and there's an item there, 2.16, about parking. If you are bringing your car to AIS St Helens, you need to park in the areas reserved for student car parking. We encourage you to walk between the campuses wherever possible. It's only 6 or 7 minutes walk. And try and leave your car parked at one of the main car parking areas. Please do not park on the surrounding streets outside of the campus, and that's part of our resource consent for the campus operations. Another useful information down at the bottom of page 16, the prayer facilities. Islamic, Buddhist, and Hindu prayer facilities in our region are listed here with their contact details. Over on page 17, we cover the public transport facilities, how you can use the bus and train services, and the websites and information to help you use those. AIS St Helens is fortunate in being close to all public transport, so it should be straightforward once you get used to the routes and to using the MAX website. For those of you who are driving, the item on page 18 is important about road safety and some information to help you with tips and important information about driving on New Zealand roads. Just move over onto page 19 with an introduction from security, and security will be speaking to you later on as part of this orientation. As I've said, it's a 24/7 service. Please note that all common areas in both the campuses are under video surveillance by security at all times to help with health and safety. Note that you should not leave any personal belongings unattended or leave any valuables in your car, in your locked car. And make sure that if you are new in the country and that you have cash on you, to make sure that you open a bank account today with the banks downstairs to deposit money safely. Item 2.24 on page 18 covers smoking. Essentially, our campuses are both smoke-free. However, there are some areas which are reserved for smoking at both campuses, and those are listed here. Over on page 20, there's an item at the bottom about the Treaty of Waitangi, a very important document for New Zealand's history and for New Zealand's current way of life and culture. There is a free booklet in the library. The reference is given there at the bottom of page 20, which is very interesting, is very helpful in your understanding of Maori protocol and customs, such as the Wawhiri ceremony we experienced this morning. Then move over onto page 22, covering more information about administration. Item 3.2 covers care of the environment and the facilities, helping us keep a clean and green image on our campus, and things that you can do to help with that. 3.3 is very important for international students. The Code of Practice is covered here. That's a code established by the Ministry of Education, which ensures that you as students receive an excellent quality of education from us and an excellent quality of pastoral care and services. So it covers your responsibilities as students, and it also covers our responsibilities as a provider of education and services to you. There's a website reference given there. There's information in your orientation pack this morning on the Code of Practice, and there are copies of the code available in several different languages on that website as well. There's a list of bullet points about important things from the code. And the next few items on page 23 are also important under the Code of Practice. For example, 3.4, contact details. Contact details is your address, your telephone number, your email address, both here in Auckland during term time and back home in your own countries. That's the address of your parents or your next of kin. It's very important that you keep your contact details up to date with us at all times. So if any information changes, there's a change of contact details form at reception, which you need to fill out. That's very important in case of any emergencies or natural disasters. Item 3.5, the emergency contact number. I'll emphasize that again. 24 hours 7, and you can use this number at any time inside of Auckland during the weekends when you're travelling out around the country. If you need any assistance. On page 24 at the bottom, 3.9 ID cards. You'll receive your AIS St Helens ID cards as part of the orientation. We ask that you carry your ID cards with you on campus when you come. You may be asked to show your ID at any time by security or by your teachers. You'll need to use your ID to use the library and to use the gymnasium and other facilities here. You can also use your student ID card for student discounts on public transport, movies, etc. Page 25, item 3.10 covers insurance. The student medical and travel insurance is compulsory for all international students. Insurance is also required by Immigration New Zealand for extending your visas. It's compulsory. And we'll be checking your insurance policies with you today as part of your orientation and helping you to arrange insurance if necessary. If you don't have insurance up to date, then you'll be invoiced for that, and policy will be issued for you. On item 3.11, some important information about late enrollments, transfers and withdrawals and refunds. And essentially, we say that if you do have any questions or any concerns about your enrollment, you should come and see us within the first 2 weeks of the semester, so within the next 2 weeks, and we'll do our best to help you with any issues or concerns or questions that you have about your enrollment. After the first 2 weeks, we don't generally allow further changes to your enrollment or refunds. And there's information there also about not just changes to your program, but changes to your course. today you're going to be selecting your courses that you're going to study in semester 1. There's also a procedure for changing your course if you need to do that. You need to change courses within the first 2 weeks as well, because after that it's not possible to catch up with the tuition delivered. Please turn over to page 27. 3.12 covers medical. It covers the location of first aid kits at AIS St Helens in case of any emergencies or if you need any first aid equipment. It also covers the location and contact details for the nearest medical centre down the road on St Luke's Road, open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Daily. It covers information about access to medical services after hours as well. There's also a list available at reception for the local general practitioners or GPs in our area. So you'll find that if you'll be here for a few months or some time, it's recommended that you enlist with a GP or a local doctor. You'll find that their rates are much cheaper than the St Luke's Accident and Emergency Clinic. Over on page 28, there's a list of some bullet points there about enrolment procedures. There's things that you should have completed before you start your classes on Tuesday. So run through that list as well, and we'll be covering a lot of these areas as part of the orientation today and early next week. Item 3.14 covers payments. You should have your payments made and up to date. There is a 5% discount, a 5% prepayment discount which we offer for payment in advance of 1 year's tuition fees. And that's prepayment means before the start of semester. So today is the last day to access that 5% prepayment discount if you need that. There is a late payment fee for payments still outstanding after 4 weeks, and then interest is charged on that as well. So these details are covered in this section of the handbook. Over on page 29, we have a section about the student code of conduct. Essentially, we expect that you show respect towards your fellow students and staff, and the main areas covered by us, our code of conduct, are given here. On page 31, there's an important item at the bottom about student grievance procedures. Grievance procedures means that if you have a problem or a complaint, who should you see and who can help you with that? And there's a list A through to H, given there on page 32, about all of the people and systems procedures that we have in place to help you with any questions or any concerns. Essentially, we ask that you raise any questions with us at the earliest possible time by seeing your teacher or by seeing your student services officer or even just seeing reception. We'll all be able to help. If necessary, if you're not happy with the response from AIS St Helens, then down in the bottom of page 32, there are the external authorities given also which you can approach if you have concerns. Now over on page 33, there's a very helpful list of health and counselling and support services for students. You'll find a lot of these services are already covered in-house in our Student Services Office, but here we list a lot of outside government services or local community groups and their telephone numbers, their 0800 numbers and their websites. We can help with lots of extra information that will be helpful about immigration, about health issues, discrimination issues, legal issues. There's lots of help available at these contact details. Now over on page 34, we start with our own student services available from Student Services Office. There's an item 4.2 about enrolment documents. The important, if you need any certificates about your study, you could need certificates of enrolment, you could need transcripts or other documentation from AIS St Helens. It could be to do with applying for another visa or opening a bank account or postponing military service or applications for further study. Any sort of enrolment documentation, come and see us at Student Services we can help arrange that for national students. This is the section about immigration and covering student visa information. It's important that today you check your passport, and we'll help you check your passport and check that your student visa is issued correctly, that it's current for AIS St Helens, that it covers the period of the program that you've paid for, and that's also filled out correctly for the program that you are studying. If any of these details are not correct, then we'll need to correct those with you. Because if they are inaccurate, then they may cause problems for visa extensions in the future. Now it's very straightforward to extend your visa to move on to next year or to next semester or to further studies. All you need to do is come and see us at least 4 weeks before the expiry of your visa, and see us at the main campus reception. The student online visa office is available to help you with any questions or assistance in extending visas at any time. So we have online visa processing with immigration, so you don't need to go to the immigration offices in town. You can drop everything off with Lydia at main campus reception, and the online visa renewal service is very quick, within 2 or 3 days. And Lydia will help you prepare other documentation such as any medical or financial documentation that you'll need to extend your visas. So today, I remind you again, just check the expiry date of your student visa and keep a record of your expiry date. 4 weeks before that, you must have your visa renewal organised with us. One other important point about extending visas is that we are required to give information to immigration about your attendance and about your progress in your studies. So maintain 100% attendance, or let us know if you are going to be, if you are sick or have any important reason for absence, and also maintain a good study record. That will help with immigration. Our online visa office can also issue work visas after you graduate. So the 1-year graduate job search visa can also be applied online through AIS St Helens. On page 35, item 4.6 about the job search centre, and people will be covering that with you today as part of orientation and the assistance available to help you in finding work or preparing for work. Now 4.7. Student loans and allowances, that's very important for domestic students. So if you are a domestic student or a New Zealand permanent resident or citizen and applying for loans and allowances, you should have your applications already completed with StudyLink by now. If you haven't, come and see us in Student Services. The references are given here for applying to StudyLink online and directly. And StudyLink also follows up student attendance and progress with your studies for further access to loans and allowances. Over on page 36, there's an item about 4.11 about Study Skills Advisor, and there's also second information, and Tamini will talk to you about her important service to help you with your studies. 4.12 covers work eligibility once again. Please make sure you read that, because I know many of you will be interested in working part-time during your studies, working full-time during the long semester breaks, and working after you graduate. We move on to page 38. We start more detailed academic information here. Some of this information about graduation. The main graduation that we have every year towards the beginning of September. There's information on page 39 about copyright and your photocopy material in the library, and about plagiarism, and the academic staff later on today will cover these academic issues with you. But it's important that you know where to find this sort of information in the student handbook. It's all listed here. On page 41, covers more information about attendance. Also emphasise that. And say once again that Immigration New Zealand requires 100% attendance and good performance. Now page 42. Our examination regulations are listed here for you as well. And And just take a note of item 5.18, aggregate assessment and impaired performance. That covers some important information if you are sick during an exam, or if you happen to miss an exam or an assessment for any important reason, or you feel sick during an exam. It tells you what you can do to help with an application for an aggregate assessment or an impaired performance assessment. Make sure that you apply within 5 days of the exam or the assessment. You also need to provide a doctor's medical certificate and an AIS St Helens medical certificate with your applications for aggregate assessment. Over on page 45, we cover the grading system that we use. Page 46, we cover some important information about credit for prior studies. I know many of you will be interested in applying for cross credits for your studies in your own universities or colleges previously. So that procedure is given here. And halfway down the page, we have the normal number of cross credits, the maximum number of cross credits that can be applied for in each of the programs. Over on page 47, there's important information that I'll cover with you on the second half. It's called Recognition of Academic Achievement. Item 5.28 covers scholarships. The scholarships that AIS St Helens offer that you will be able to access. And scholarships are based on your studies and over 2 semesters at AIS. So once you've studied over 2 semesters and done a minimum of 5 courses, then you'll be able to apply for an academic scholarship for your next semester. And you can apply regularly each semester. The scholarships are based on the GPA, the grade point average that you achieve. We require a 6.5 GPA for an excellence scholarship, which gives a 15% discount for the fees for the next semester, and a 5.5 GPA for the merit scholarship, which gives a 10% discount for fees for the next semester. So that's very useful information. You'll be able to target a scholarship right from the start of semester 1 this year. Now from page 50 onwards, we give more detailed information for each program. So you just need to look up the section which is relevant for the program that you're enrolled on, and that's covered in the second half of the student handbook. Just quickly, there's a couple of appendices at the end. There's an appendix on page 65, which is called the Staff Directory. That gives a list of the staff that you'll most likely come in contact with during your time with us. And on page 67, there's another appendix called Supplementary Fees List. And those few pages give all of the fees for extra services and extra facilities that you may need to access. It also gives the fees for if you need to repeat a course for any reason. The fees and the discounts available are also given on this list. So I hope that's given you some quick idea of where to go to find the information that you'll need to know to help you in settling in to AIS St Helens and in succeeding in your studies. I'll be pleased to answer any questions about anything from this book. And of course, our student services staff will be available to help you with any area as well. So I'd like to wish you all the best for your studies.